Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. My name's Christina, and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. So if you guys are looking for the best and most honest how-tos and reviews from a consumer's perspective, then make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, as well as leave any comments that you have for me down below. So I'm back with another first impression / first wear demo type of video for you, and today we're going to be testing these two new Makeup by Mario products. They are the Softsculpt Transforming Skin Perfector as well as the Softsculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. Now I do have the enhancer in the shade medium and I have the Perfector in the shade medium dark because my local Sephora actually had run out of the medium shade in the Perfector and I wanted the medium. However, I did get fairly tan on my honeymoon. I just got back from my honeymoon cruise with my husband and it was so much fun. I got very tan. So I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that these work out for me. But anyways, if you guys are interested in seeing how these apply, my first impression, how it looks on combo skin, as well as medium to tan skin tones, then just keep on watching. When I first heard about this launch, I was a little bit confused. I wasn't exactly sure what these products were supposed to do for the complexion. There's a lot of mixed reviews from what I can see, and honestly, I don't tend to watch any other review videos beforehand, so it doesn't sway my opinion whenever I decide that I'm going to be doing a video on a certain product. However, I was so curious and a little bit confused as to what these were supposed to do for the complexion that I decided to watch a couple of videos so I could see how other people were wearing them and trying them out and all of that stuff. And I read the comments on a lot of those videos and some people were like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, and other people were like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on these. So it was very hot and cold. I was curious myself, so let me read the specs on each of these for you. And the reason why I bought the two together is because they were marketed together. They're supposed to work well layered on top of each other, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's start off with the skin enhancer. So the skin enhancer, like I said, I got it in the shade medium. I'm reading it right here. So it's a 3-in-1 tinted complexion balm that warms and nourishes with sheer coverage to even out the appearance of skin tone. The coverage is light, the finish is radiant, and it is a cream formulation. So I saw this kind of used as an all-over bronzer, and like I said, I did get very tan during my cruise, so I'm hoping that the medium shade works for me. Mario does say that it does look darker in the pan than it applies on the face. I did watch some of his demo videos as well to kind of get an idea of how to use this. They do recommend using a dense brush for this product specifically, as well as for the Perfector. They do say use a brush, but more of a large fluffy brush. The Skin Perfector I purchased in the color medium dark, again because my Sephora was out of the medium. That was a shade that I wanted to purchase. However, I'm trying out the medium dark today, and this one has a translucent powder, a highlight, and a bronzer all in one. It's kind of like layered or stacked. And this is also a 3-in-1 powder to perfect, illuminate, and set makeup for a radiant glow with an airbrush effect on skin. This is also light coverage. It is a pressed powder and the finish is radiant. And I've seen some people relate this to the Hourglass ambient lighting powders because those powders, as you know, are setting powders, but you can also use them as highlights, and they definitely give you that pearlescent looking finish. So this is the skin enhancer right here. It's very interesting. It kind of looks like a cork board texture rather than a smooth creamy finish here. I don't know if that means mine is bad or if that's normal. I'll show you guys some close-ups, but this is the medium, and again, Mario does say that this is gonna look darker in the pan than it does on the skin, and since this is a light coverage, this is supposed to work for a broad range of skin tones here. So I'm gonna do a swatch here. So it's very creamy. This is what it looks like on the fingertip, and then a hard swatch here. So as you can see, that applied very sheer. Definitely has a lot of moisture in there. So I'm interested to see how this looks on the skin. And then here we have the Skin Perfector. Again, it's going to be a 3-in-1 product. So you have your translucent powder, your highlight, and then your bronzer. This definitely looks like it's going to be rather dark for me. We'll see how this works out. So the bronzer is matte, then the highlight, and it kind of looks like the shimmer from the highlight is falling into the translucent powder, which isn't great if you want to use them separately. However, if you're going to swirl them all together, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a big deal. But here is the translucent powder, the highlight, and then that bronzer. Let's swirl them all together for you. So that blended, it's starting to kind of muddle together now, even with just one swatch. And I'll swatch this right here. Okay, so that is the Skin Perfector swatched all together. That actually looks like it might work okay for me, especially if I get more tan throughout the summer. It is the beginning of summer, and this is just the start of my tan. You can see my forehead is very, very tan now. I've been trying to decide how I want to kind of go about this. I definitely am going to put some foundation on, and then I'm going to use the 2 products on top of the foundation. Now the foundation that I use, I'm unsure. So on my cruise, I used the IT Cosmetics Nude Glow a lot. This started to look really great on my skin because it was a little darker than my complexion to begin with. So once I got a little bit more tan, it was perfect. I initially wanted to use this Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Balm foundation, but it looks like, I just swatched it on my face and it looks like it might be a little too light for my complexion right now. So that kind of sucks. I might have to pick up a darker shade of this. So I think today I'm going to go ahead and go in with my IT Cosmetics Nude Glow in the shade Neutral Tan because this seems like it's going to match me the best. So right now on my skin, I just did my skincare to kind of prime my face. I'm not really wearing a primer today. I use the Clinique Moisture Surge 100-Hour Auto Replenishing Hydrator Moisturizer. And then I have the Clinique All About Eyes Rich Eye Cream. And I love these two. These have been like my staple recently, and I also took them on my honeymoon and I love them, especially for when your skin starts to dry out during the summer because you're getting like a lot of sun. This eye cream, so moisturizing, and it primes under my eyes so well. I love it. And then this moisturizer, it's moisturizing, however, because it is a gel consistency, it's not going to feel heavy on the skin, which is great for the summertime. If you like a good gel cream, this one is a perfect one for you. You know how sometimes gel cream moisturizers will feel really moisturizing at first, and then after a couple hours it feels like it's pretty much gone away and your skin feels a little dry. This does not do that. It really does keep your skin very hydrated throughout the day. So that's all I have on my skin right now. Just these two. Oh, and I put sunscreen on, but this has been, I put this on top of that sunscreen as a base, like a primer. So I'm just going to put this all over the skin. If you haven't seen my video on this product, go ahead and watch it if you're curious if this is like any different than the original or the other CC creams that they've come out with. Just go watch that, and I cover everything on there. So I'm blending this in with my Real Techniques sponge. And I like this with either a sponge or a brush. It doesn't really matter. It applies nicely either way. I've been really breaking out though, I will admit. My skin has been going through it. I think because there's a couple nights on our cruise where I just knocked out. Like we went to dinner, we watched a couple shows, and then when we went back to our room, I just knocked out with all of my makeup on. So I think my skin is a little bit angry at me for that. We're slowly on the mend to, you know, getting better now that I'm home and I can use my usual skincare and my masks and all of that stuff. I think for concealer, I'll use my Anastasia concealer in the shade 11, just under the eyes. And then for the rest of my face, I'm going to use my Kosas concealer because this is a lighter coverage concealer and I don't want to like cake my face up too much. I've been using this Real Techniques concealer brush. It's an expert concealer brush. So I'm just gonna go in and dab at those before I blend it out with my sponge again. If you guys are wondering about my lashes, I'm wearing the Lash Links lash ribbons in the style N2. I did a whole video on lash ribbons and lash clusters. That was my last video. So if you're interested in seeing that and learning about those, then go watch that. It's all about lashes like clusters that you put underneath your lash versus a lash band where you put on top. So because this is a balm, I am going to go on to the foundation without powdering my face. As you can see, this is the foundation and concealer just on my face. Looking very shiny here, but I promise once we set it, it's gonna look a lot better. They actually suggest using a dense brush for this product, and I do have a really nice brush here. This is the BK Beauty 106 brush. I really like all of these brushes. I've been using them a lot and I really enjoy the quality of them. I'm gonna use this to kind of bronze up the entire face. So I'm gonna put it on my forehead, on my cheek, and on my chin, essentially anywhere that I would typically bronze. And we're gonna see how this looks. Again, it's gonna be a sheer coverage, so we may have to build it a little bit, but we will find out together now. So I'm gonna use my brush and just tap it in there, get a good amount, and you wanna make sure your bristles are evenly covered. So that looks pretty good. So starting on the cheek, and I'm gonna start kind of higher up and then just like work it in because I want my full face to look very bronze and glowy. So I'm gonna tap it in there. Okay, so you can definitely see it. That's a good sign, so I'm not too tan. And I'm just going to go back in. That kind of covered a little bit of my cheek, but definitely not enough for the rest of my face. Do my jaw. And I'm really going in there and getting a lot of product because since it is sheer, I'm noticing that it's not creating a very, very harsh pigmented line. So that's nice to know that you can really just go at it without worrying about going overboard. I can't really see it on my forehead, to be honest. I can see it on the viewfinder on my cheek and on my jawline, but not really on my forehead. So it's definitely a little light for my tan right now. Also gonna go in this side now. It blends very, very easily, almost completely into the skin. Like I couldn't really see it when I was blending it and looking into a mirror, but when I looked in the viewfinder, I'm like, okay, I can see that I still need to blend here, a little bit here. So you can definitely see it, but it's almost indetectable right now when I'm just blending it and looking in the mirror. Interesting, could be dangerous. You could kind of like not know that you put a ton of it on. It feels nice. It feels like a very, very lightweight cream. Almost can't tell I'm applying it again. And if you've ever used the Makeup by Mario contour sticks, the contour stick is one of my favorites. I use it almost every single time I do my makeup. I have the contour stick in the shade medium dark and I just love this thing. It's so easy to work with. It's very, very blendable, but it's definitely more of a contour. Like when you want to look very sculpted, you can use that. And I'm thinking with this enhancer, you can just use it to bronze the face. So without going in with more product, I am just blending out those edges, really getting it into the face. All right, so this is my skin with the enhancer. Again, I'm looking like a total grease ball right now because of that super hydrating foundation, but this is what it's looking like before powdering. It definitely added some warmth. It almost is so sheer that it feels like a warmer shade of foundation. It helped me kind of sculpt out the cheeks, give me a little bit more of dimension. Everything has kind of evened out with that brush, which is really nice. Again, I use this like denser brush. You can use this for foundation, but this is also really nice for cream products. I don't think that it took away any sort of coverage. If anything, it kind of added a little bit of coverage there. So now let's combine it with the Skin Perfector. I am a little concerned because this is a shade darker than what I think I need. So we're gonna go in with a very light hand here. So I'm actually gonna go in with this 104 brush. It is a tapered like powder brush here. And I think that I'm going to swirl them all together, but I'm gonna try to avoid too much of that bronzer. So I'm gonna kind of like do this action. So I got some product on there. Again, I haven't powdered my face. I'm going to put it directly onto that cream to see how it like works together. And I'm going to start here on my forehead and just tap that in. Oh, I think I had a lot of bronzer there on the tip because I look a little red right there. That really makes a difference on camera. I can't really see too much of a difference. If anything, in the mirror, I'm just not looking as shiny in those areas. But on camera, I can really see how it's like bronzed me a little bit. Trying to go in here with a very light hand. It's blending on top of that enhancer really nicely. I wonder if I can use this to set the entire face. I feel like this shade in particular is going to be too dark to set my whole face. Oh no, that actually looks really nice. It's not as shimmery as I thought it was going to be, which is a good thing. I was a little worried about that highlight. The glow in the center of my face is really distracting me. So I'm going to go in with a bit of powder just to powder everything down. And I'm going to be using this Hourglass translucent powder. And I have my little Tati puff. So I'm going to use this to kind of set my face in place so I'm not distracted by the shine. Have you guys been watching the new season of Stranger Things? I'm not going to give anything away, but honestly, we binged about 4 episodes last night because this season is so good. They're definitely going in a direction of, I would say, gory, but the storyline is still like true to how every season has been, like same type of idea, and it's been really good. Like, I like the mystery that we've gotten so far. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the season. Honestly, I think that we're gonna finish the season in 2 sittings. We couldn't go to bed last night. We just kept saying, okay, do you want to watch one more episode? So I'm looking very bronzed, very tan. It's a little harsh in the studio lights. I'll try to give you guys some footage in daylight, but it's looking a little bit like boom in your face right now from what I can see in the screen. But honestly, this is actually looking like a very toned down type of bronzer. And I was a little nervous, like I said, that this was going to be way, way too dark. But actually, I think the combination of this highlight and translucent powder here on the bottom are really helping tone down that bronzer. I do wish that the translucent powder section was a little larger. I feel like maybe if they switch the highlight and the translucent powder sections, I would like that more because I'm almost scared to get too much shimmer. But as I'm looking at my skin, I'm like, well, it doesn't look like I put an entire highlight all over my face. I do see the resemblance to the ambient light Hourglass powders because I'm seeing it set down, but it also doesn't look like mattifying or anything. Just putting some lipstick on here. I have this Clinique Black Honey. Y'all know this was viral for a while, but I just want to top because I'm feeling this like sheer type of look right now. So this is the perfect one. Alrighty, so this is what my face is looking like here, guys. And originally, I wanted to see if I could use this Perfector on my entire face to set it. However, I definitely think that this shade in particular is going to have to stay as a bronzing shade for me because it is quite dark. As you can see, I put the enhancer and the Perfector all over the skin. Personally, I think that it looks really, really great. I do sometimes have an issue when I want to look very bronzed and just sun-kissed. I start to look very muddy, and I find that in daylight I look very muddy. It looks like I cake on a lot of product. And you know when you go in the car and you look in the car mirror, like the visor, and you flip it down and you look at yourself in the mirror, and that is like the ultimate test to see if you did your makeup nicely or if it's just like caked on there. I don't know if you guys can relate, but that's kind of like how it feels for me. And personally, I feel like if I were to go in the car right now and look at my makeup, it would not look caked up because these 2 products, because they are a sheer coverage, you really can just build it up to be the perfect coverage, but you also get that same effect of bronzy and glowiness because of the shades for one, and also the finish of them as well. I had seen someone say that it really emphasizes their pores. Now again, I'm not using this to set my entire face, so I can't speak on that. However, where I have put it, I'm not seeing any pores being emphasized like on my forehead or anything. So if I ever do have a problem with my pores really being emphasized, it will be right in this section, and I barely touched that section with this product, but I do have it a little bit right here, and I'm not seeing it super emphasized. I can definitely see people wanting to use these two products together on just straight skincare, because my thought process is this enhancer is gonna act as sort of a nice base on top of that skincare. It'll give you a little bit of that color that you're looking for, and then you'll be able to finish off that color and that finish with the Perfector. Will I be using these together all the time? Probably not. I mean, I feel like this enhancer would be such a good cream bronzer for every day, because again, it's going to add that color, but it's not going to add that thick layer of makeup on the skin. I think that I can get away with continuing to use this medium dark shade. I'm curious to see if the medium shade would work on me, and I think the medium would definitely work as like an all over coverage, so I might pick that up and see what that looks like all over the face. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm going to play around a little bit more with this. So I forgot to mention the price point on these. The enhancer is $30 and then the Perfector is $34. So my big issue recently has been that I feel like my makeup looks very cakey on my face no matter how much I set it, because if I set it, then my skin looks too dewy, and then throughout the day it starts looking too oily because I am combo skin. But if I don't set it, then it just like looks like a grease ball. I think the reason why I'm really enjoying the way that this looks on my skin is because the fact that it is a lightweight and light coverage product, I'm able to build it up exactly how much I want in order to avoid looking too cakey. So the fact that I still get that color, but it's a sheer layer, is very nice. And I feel like you can not detect that I'm wearing as much makeup as I am. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know I'm wearing a foundation as well as the enhancer and the Perfector, which is essentially 3 products in one. So that's super interesting to me. Is it so innovative, like mind-blowing? I've never seen anything like this. No, not necessarily. The thing that I think is the most innovative with this is that it's a light coverage foundation, but it still gives you good pigmentation. Typically, like, you know, past products, if they're light coverage, then we kind of relate that to no coverage. But I did definitely see it bronzing my skin and giving me that good, nice glow, especially in my viewfinder here. So no, it's not the most innovative product ever, but I can definitely see myself getting a lot of use out of this. I can see the enhancer really becoming a staple cream bronzer in my routine. Do I recommend these products? I think I do. I like the enhancer. I would definitely recommend to try this out because I feel like you could get a lot of different uses out of this. The Perfector honestly works almost like a bronzer in my opinion. So if you're in the market for a good bronzer, like a good glowy bronzer, then yeah, this is a great purchase because it doesn't look muddy or like too cakey or too much on the skin. Like the fact that it is this light coverage kind of just gives you like a kiss of color. So I like that a lot. If you're looking to just purchase one of the two, I would recommend the enhancer. I feel like that made the biggest difference. It really kind of brought a lot of warmth to my skin tone, and then I feel like if I just set that with powder, it would still look really beautiful. So I would say go enhancer if you only want to choose one. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin even after powdering and then setting it with setting powder. I mean, it feels completely fine. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, if you've decided to pick these up or if you already have and your thoughts on them. I would love to know, again, because I was so interested in how much people people were like excited and really not excited about it. So let me know your thoughts on it. Again, I really enjoyed it. I think that these products are great. I hope you guys found this helpful or enjoyable. And if you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.